first, thank you for your time today in the middle of a packed day. How's it been for you so far?
Very well. I'm so happy to be back in India, and I had an especially rich experience in Mumbai, both personally as well as from my job as Secretary of State and the important relationship that our two countries have. And I'm looking forward to the rest of my day today and then the meetings that I'll have tomorrow.
I want to start with asking you something that I know a lot of Indians want to know and they're confused about. Indians tend to feel sometimes that Washington draws a kind of equivalence between India and Pakistan. It's like a hyphenated relationship that Americans can't seem to talk about India and Pakistan without using them in the same sentence. And India's been trying to dehyphenate this relationship. Do you believe now that this is a dehyphenated relationship?
I believe it stands on its own merits, that the relationship between the United States and India is one of the most important in the world and certainly for our future. As you know, I have a great deal of personal interest in making sure that our two countries, our two democracies, are working together across the range of issues that we both have to confront. So for me, and I know for President Obama, this is a relationship that we consider a core, critical relationship, and it is not in any way connected to any other relationship.
Now, I've heard you speaking so much about how Washington believes that there has been a new commitment from the Pakistan government in dealing with terrorism. So I want to ask you a more specific question. There are a lot of concerns in India that terrorist groups like the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the men who control them, continue to be out, not in prison, like Hafiz Saeed, for example. Is this a matter of concern to Washington that men who are known to control terrorist groups are not behind prison, are not behind jail bars?
Well, certainly the whole issue of terrorism and the syndicate of terrorist groups that we see in Pakistan are of great concern to us. My point is, though, that I think that the Pakistani government and, more importantly, the Pakistani people are much more concerned and committed to their own fight against this syndicate of terrorism today. I've watched this evolve over the last 6 months, and there is a level of understanding as to the threat that these groups pose internally in Pakistan. And the national government appealed, as you know, the release of Saeed. So I think you're seeing steps. Now, there's much more to be done. We all know that. And I'm both encouraging and expecting to see more action taken.
I'm sure you've been following some of the press reporting here on the Egypt joint statement. A lot of uproar in India. You wrote about how it's time for India and the United States to encourage Pakistan in fighting extremism. Some Indians would ask you, why is that our job?
Because I think that the historic instability of the Pakistani democracy and government has obviously had adverse effects for India. Take the United States out of the equation. The more stable that Pakistan is, the safer India is. And so it seems to me that it is in India's interest to hope for a stable, functioning government in Pakistan that is ready, willing, and able to take on the threat of terrorism. From the United States perspective, we know that the people who planned the attack against us on 9/11 are in Pakistan. So we have a very personal and real interest in both working with the Pakistani government and with others like-minded in trying to support their efforts. We know that it's difficult for them. We know that it has been a challenge for the current government in Pakistan to sort of make the case, but now they're doing it. And I think that's in all of our interest.
Tuba.com